I'm Kara Infante, and this is Bookish Flights. In each episode, I chat with one bookish guest as we take some time to sample and savor the pairing recommendations from their bookish flight. We hope to give you suggestions to cultivate your TBR list and nurture your leisure time through books. In today's episode, I am chatting with Colton and Ryan Sawyer. Colton is an 11-year-old and in 5th grade. Colton teamed up with his dad, Ryan, and wrote the book, We Can Do Hard Things, to inspire anyone who has felt the weight of struggling to fit in or battling self-doubt. He shares his journey of overcoming these and finding resilience. I am beyond excited to welcome him to the show today as our youngest published author. Welcome to the show, Colton and Ryan.
Hello.
Thank you for having us.
You are so welcome. Listeners, Colton is joining us at 5:15 in the morning. He is a brave soul that got up with me. So thank you for getting up so early, buddy.
Yeah.
So tell us about your book. How did this come about?
We were at first going to make a workshop, and we thought, might as well make a book too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with a workshop, you can reach some people, but with a book, it can go around the world, which is amazing.
So I was thinking about both.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could absolutely do both, but I think that's wonderful. So when did you start this project?
When did we start?
It was in the summer. It was a summer project. It was our worthy challenge. Remember?
Oh, yeah. So we were all doing worthy challenges.
Okay.
And our worthy challenge was to write a book called We Can Do Hard Things. So it basically started last summer.
Okay. And did you worked on it all summer then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the summer and then it bled into the fall. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I imagine it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, not too much, but
Yeah.
Did you enjoy doing it?
yeah.
Yeah.
The story itself was probably more fun than writing the book.
Yeah. Can you tell the readers a little bit about what it is about, so they want to pick it up?
So it's about me, and I'm sharing my journey of going to UME and all the lessons that I learned.
Okay.
And I think my purpose for making this and going there was to win. I wanted to show others what is possible when they believe in themselves.
Yeah.
So that's mainly why. UME is unbeatable mind experience.
Okay.
It's where you go to the place that it's hosted at, and you train with a bunch of former Navy SEALs. It's not just physical training, it's mental and physical.
And how long does this go for?
3 days.
3 days. Okay, so it's like a weekend experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What a life-changing experience to do.
Yeah.
Is it one of your favorite memories?
Probably. It's one of the most memorable. That's for sure.
Did you and your dad go together?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily meant for kids, right? It's an adult experience that he begged me to go to for about a year. And he was like, this is something I have done.
Okay.
He's trained with this group of Navy SEALs or former Navy SEALs for about 3 years or so. And so I was leaving about once a quarter to go do these in-person trainings.
Okay.
And I was a part of a coaching program called Tip of the Spear. And so I had built a relationship with them, and he kept asking every time I left the house, like, can I go, Dad? Can I go, Dad?
Okay.
And I'm like, you're too young, buddy. It's not for kids. It's not for kids. So I finally asked Mark Devine, who's the leader of Unbeatable Mind and SEAL Fit. I said, what would you think if I brought my 9-year-old son? He's like, I trust you as long as he's, able to not be a distraction and you
Yeah.
keep them safe. Like, yeah. So then we spent 3 months training before it,
Okay.
doing hard things leading up to it.
Yeah.
And that's what the book is. The book is more about the preparation for the event,
Okay.
which is where the lessons come from more than the actual event itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
so important. I see that this book could be for so many kids. So thank you for writing this and putting your story on paper so we can read it.
Yeah.
You're going to inspire a lot of children.
That'd be cool.
So, what type of things do you enjoy doing?
I love to do art. I like sketching. I love to play music and ride horses.
Nice. Do you have an instrument that you specialize in?
Guitar.
Nice. My dad was a guitar player. What about reading? What type of books do you enjoy reading?
I like to read fiction and nonfiction.
And then you have brought 3 of your favorite books with you today to talk about as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us what the first one is?
This is my favorite book out of all the books I've ever read. It's
Okay.
called Wolf Called Wander. It's about it's a true story about a wolf that they tracked called OR7, who traveled a remarkable 1,000 miles across the Pacific Northwest.
Wow.
And so it's a story about his whole life. And when he's a baby or a cub, I should say, his home grounds gets attacked and he has to leave.
Okay.
And he travels 1,000 miles looking for his family. I thought it was pretty cool.
That sounds like a great story. That is, so it's that's nonfiction then. It's a true story.
It's a true story, yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. I have to read this. I haven't heard of this one before.
Yeah, I recommend it for sure.
How many times have you read that book, buddy?
I've read this book 6 times.
6 times. Wow. Do you do a lot of reading during the school year too?
Yeah, a lot. I read
Yeah.
almost every night.
Okay. Yeah, and sometimes I think with school, right, and homework and sports and all the other things we have to do, it's hard to find time to read. So I'm glad you find time to do it.
Yeah, I love it so much. It'd
Yeah.
be hard not to.
Yeah. Wonderful. And that was by Roseanne Perry, right? For A Wolf Called
Yeah.
Wander. Okay, what's the next book you brought?
The second book I brung was The Warrior and the Monk by Greg Amundsen.
Okay.
I really love how many lessons are inside of it. My favorite lesson from inside of it is there's this monk that's trying to find God, and he goes everywhere. He searches to the mountains. He travels all over the world trying to find God. But then he's on this mountaintop and he just sits down and closes his eyes and he finds God. I love that about that book.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of his story, right? Of how much he traveled and trekked around the world and something so simple as just sitting there.
Yeah, just he kept going to the sunrise, but he never got there.
Wow. That's a beautiful story and so important for, again, I think for all of us, right? Not just kids. I think that's such an important lesson for even us as adults.
I think it was that book that kind of sparked our journey of him wanting to go to UME. So
Yeah.
we were reading that book at night together. And it's one of those books that like I am like, oh, that's good, right? So it's a kid's book, but it's for anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I tell my friends is that we should also enjoy the books our kids are reading because there's so many good quality books just like that are out there. So thank you for sharing that one with us. And then what's the last one you brought today?
The Way of the Warrior Kid.
Okay.
It's about this kid who goes from just a normal kid. It says from wimpy to warrior in one summer, the Navy SEAL way at the bottom.
Okay.
So what I really like about this book is I like the hero's journey. He goes from just this to that.
Yeah, he's barely
I just
hanging
like
on
how
the pull-up bar, listeners, on the front cover. So he's definitely the quote-unquote wimpy kid there in that picture.
yeah. And then he goes to a warrior kid. So that's what I like about that book.
Listeners, we have that book at our house too, and it's a favorite of my husband and my son to read together as well. And I've read it with him, and it's a great lessons in that book for our kids and ourselves again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that was Way of the Warrior Kid by Jocko Willink. So, thank you so much for bringing 3 of your favorite books with you. How I love to end the show is just with a speed round of questions here. Okay?
Yep.
Where is your favorite place to read?
My bedroom. I like because then when I'm done reading, I can just go to sleep.
Yep. A great way to end your day. And then, are you a rereader?
Yes. Because like I said, I read Wolf Called Wander 6 times.
Yeah. Do you get something different out of the story each time you read it?
I kind of do, yeah. Because you notice things that you didn't notice last time.
Yeah. And then you kind of know the story, so you can look for the little clues along the way. It's a fun way to read. All right. And lastly, what are you reading next?
What I'm reading next is nothing like I've been reading in these books. It's Surviving Alone by Clay Hayes. My Opa gave it to me, so I'm just reading that.
Wonderful. All right. And then listeners, so you can find Colton's book, We Can Do Hard Things, on Amazon, right? Is there other places they can find you and your story?
Yeah, we're doing some things together. So the workshop thing was one of his ideas, and now we're coming back around. And since we have the book out, we'll be doing that as well. So if you're local in Spokane, then keep an eye out for workshops called We Can Do Hard Things, where we'll teach kids, athletes, whoever wants to, parents, what it takes to do hard things, and then actually experience doing something hard with us.
Okay.
So that's coming up. We'll start to do those probably by the end of April or something like that.
Yeah.
And so by the time this comes out, we'll have done that. We have a coaching business, obviously, and so that's he wants to continue to impact kids. So we're going to create probably a little what's called like a little warrior type workshop as well for kids, a little course. So there's more to come. And so we are IHP coaching is the name of our coaching.
Perfect. That's what I was going to ask, because I'll definitely include that in the show notes.
He'll be a part of that. He wants to be a part of it. So I just keep saying yes to what he asks me for. So we'll see where it takes us. Yeah.
Well, what an amazing journey for the two of you having a published book. And like I said, Colton, you're our youngest published author on the show to date. So that's amazing in itself. So thank you so much for coming on the show with me today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode today with Colton and Ryan Sawyer and his book flight of his favorite books that are adventurous and full of life lessons. We'd love to hear what other books you'd pair with these books at bookishflights.com. That is also where you can find more information about today's book flight or other books that we talked about. I want to inspire a community of readers. So whenever you share a post about what you are reading or what you are reading next, especially if you have heard about it on the show, please tag us on Facebook or Instagram at Bookish Flights. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. Your review not only helps the show, but it also helps the podcast to reach others. Make sure you are subscribed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to make sure you will not miss an episode. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. As Emma Thompson said, I think books are like people in the sense that they'll turn up in your life when you most need them. Cheers to you, dear readers. Until next time.